Do you realize if you're a full-time employee or if you're an entrepreneur, you spend 8+ hours per day hanging out, spending time with either strangers or people who you barely know, called your coworkers. Yes. Most of the time, we talk about forgiveness in our family, in our church, but I don't think I've ever heard someone talk about forgiveness in the workplace. How do you practically walk out forgiveness in the workplace? Like, what does it look like? Because you work with them. You work with them all day. You hang with them all day. You have to do team projects. You have to just be in their presence, sometimes in small spaces. So what do when you rub somebody the wrong way, or y'all just bump heads, or you just don't get along, or they throw you under the bus and you're like, ooh, that was dirty? What do? How does it look like as a believer? How does it look at work, having to go see this person? Maybe you sit right beside them and they annoy you, or they do something, maybe they have ways that you just don't prefer to be around them. But guess what? That work is your livelihood. You got to be there. So that's what I want to talk about today. What does forgiveness look like in the workplace? And what are some practical ways that we can biblically walk out forgiveness? So stay with me, White Chair Talk. So, what can we do to practice forgiveness in the place where you work, the place where you spend most of your hours? I thought about that. I said, man, I spend more time with these people at work than I spend at home with my own family. Probably because by the time I come home, I'm getting dinner together, I'm straightening up something, I'm working out, I'm getting my clothes ready for the next day. So I'm still really not spending quality time with my own family. So what do? You spend most of your time at work and you think it's okay because you're like, I don't even have to talk to them. But you know what? Yes, you do. In the workplace, you got to be a team player. I mean, you do it, you get evaluated. So it always talks about something about working with a team. How do you get along with different directives or directorates? And so you have to figure out how to manage this and make it work. So what does it look like? I'll give you an example of something that happened to me. But before I do that, if you've liked anything on my channel so far, I would love for you to like and share it and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Yeah, hit it. Because when I put out new content, you will be the first to get it. And I would love for you to share it because I talked about practical ways to live this life. You read the scripture, but how does the scripture look when you have to walk it out? And so I'm always going to say something encouraging and give you something that I have learned that's going to help you walk out this life practically. If you subscribe and share, I would greatly appreciate that. So let's get into this because I only have about 3 topics. I'm not going to talk really long. I'll give you an example. I worked with someone and every day I would come in and I would say, good morning. Good morning. And sometimes the person said good morning. But there was a lot of times where I walked in, it was nobody in the office but me and another person, maybe sometimes somebody else. It was very quiet. And I walked in and I said, good morning. And nothing. So I said, okay, well, maybe they're just having a bad day. So then the next day, I said, good morning. I said, because I'm going to speak up this time because maybe they didn't hear me. So I'm going to speak up. So I said, yes, good morning. See, that was my opportunity to, some people are confrontational. I know my husband would have said, oh, that couldn't have been me. That couldn't have been me because I'm going to address it. And that's how he is. And that's great if that's how he wants to do. But for me, I'm just not that confrontational. I'm going to try to be slow to speak and slow to anger. Now, when it comes to my kids and my family, sometimes, I got to be a little different. But in this incident, I said, you know what? I'm just going to just give this person the benefit of the doubt because maybe they didn't. So I walk in again and I say, this is another day. Good morning. And it happened again. I'm like, okay, now this is on purpose. And I said to myself, you know what? If I come in here tomorrow and I speak and they don't say anything, I'm going to say something. I say, God, because he didn't make me to just let someone walk all over me and think that they could just walk over me. That's what I was thinking. And I said, I'm just not going to speak to them. If they don't say anything to me, then I'm not going to waste my time saying good morning. Next day came. What did I do? I said, good morning. You know why? Because that's who I am. I'm just going to be professional. I'm just going to be professional. And I just decided that I was not going to let this incident and this person take me out of the character of who God created me to be. You could be how you want to be, but you're going to never have anything to say about me. I'm going to come in and I'm going to speak. Now, I may not say your name, but I'm going to speak. So that if anybody else is around and you want to say good morning back, then you can say good morning. That way I'm not looking like I'm picking and choosing and picking people by saying people's names. It's rude, right? So I just decided I wasn't going to let this person change who I was, the character of who I was. And maybe I give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're having bad situation and they just don't feel like speaking. And that's their prerogative. So I'm going to go over today. I just want to give you an example of practical ways to apply biblical forgiveness in the workplace. Something practical, something that I did. Okay, number 1, refuse to keep replaying the offense. Refuse to keep letting it mull over in your mind. Like I could have gone back to my desk and been like, now I know she heard me. I know they heard me speak. And they didn't say anything. And then I could have got on my phone. I came in here and spoke to such and such, and they didn't speak to me. And this is like the 3rd time this week. I could have done that. But no, you got to refuse to keep replaying the offense. Forgiveness starts in the mind. So instead of rehearsing the thing, you have to choose to not let the offense control your thoughts. That's big. You have to choose to not let the offense control your thoughts. Don't feed into the bitterness. Don't nourish, because when you do that, you nourish the thought. You nourish the negative behavior when you continue to talk about it. Now, if you need to talk it out, that's different. Like if you were upset and you needed somebody to help, talk you off the ledge, that's different. But if these people are not involved, those people are not involved, but you get on that phone and you be like, you know what? This is what happened. That is feeding the offense. So don't replay. And you can say to yourself, I will stop replaying the offense in my head. I won't bring it up. I will not bring it up in every conversation. There's somebody that will bring it up in every conversation. You ask them how they're doing, and that's the opportunity to jump on that offense and tell you what happened. No, don't bring it up in every conversation. And you will give it to God. Remember that it's a choice. When I say give it to God, meaning every time you want to bring it up, you be like, no, God, I'm going to cast this care upon you because I know you care for me. Maybe that person's going through something and it's not my issue. But God, speak to their heart today and let it go. I'm going to have a good day. Just command your day. I'm going to have a good day. And remember that it is a choice to stay mad. Ephesians 4:32 says, be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another as God has forgiven you or Christ has forgiven you. So remember that. Number two says, continue treating them with respect. That is so good, because when this person did this to me, I had to come in every day, because that was just the beginning of the morning. That wasn't the rest of the day that I still had to deal with this person, because we work closely together. So I didn't want to be like, and they're over there, and we're at the conference table, and I'm like, don't want to talk to them, turn my back. No, I had to treat them with respect. Forgiveness doesn't always restore the trust, but it protects your character. By that, I mean, you'll never have anything bad to say about me when it comes to that. I'm going to be professional. Even when I am wrong, you will never, I'm going to be like, I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to say what happened, because I trust that God's going to take care of me, that He has taken care of the situation. There is nothing anybody can say to me or do to me. I don't care how bad it looks. I trust God that all things are going to work out for good. Even if it was bad, it's going to work out for good when it comes to me. I trust that. So what you do is, I'll still greet them professionally, which is what I did. You have to make it up in your mind that forgiveness is a part of healing. Forgiveness is a part of healing. It doesn't mean that it's gonna completely like gain all the trust back, but at least you can start saying, I'm just not gonna carry that. I'm not gonna gossip about it, and I'm gonna choose integrity instead of choosing to have revenge. Integrity is amazing. You can't get it back. Once you lose your integrity with some people, you can't, it's gonna be hard to build that back up again. So the forgiveness, if you can see the pattern here, the forgiveness really was within you, it's in me. Forgiveness is a part of the healing, and it can start with you in your mind. And I would say this, I want to say this before I go on. I wrote this down. It says, find out why. If you're in a situation where you're bumping heads with somebody, and you have this thing about you and they have this thing about them, you just like, I don't like them. You just don't get along. It's like nothing they really did, but y'all don't vibe together. That's something you have to really search yourself out about. You have to like say, God, is there something that I am carrying? Is there an aura about me? Am I putting off this vibe? Like, don't bother me, do not disturb, leave me alone. Am I putting that vibe off? Because that vibe could also be something to deter friends. You have to be friendly, and it could deter people from coming to you like that. And you'll feel like, oh, they don't like me. And you'll be trying to figure it out. I knew somebody that just was like, nobody liked this person. If it's up to them, nobody liked them. They don't like me. I'm like, how did you figure that out? It's just looking for some problems. And it's just like, sometimes you put that vibe off. So that's just something to consider if that is you. Another thing you can do is to choose integrity instead of revenge. Sometimes I would come into work earlier, and I would just like pray. I would come in, get into work before they got into work, and I would just pray throughout the office. And I would just declare things, peace, and we're going to have harmony today and just get along. So those are some things that I did, and it just set the tone. Maybe they didn't always respond to the prayer, but who would definitely responded and it edified was me. And it helped me be able to be equipped and have strength for whoever else came in the office tripping. And it would help me not like to act out of character. So definitely having that quiet time in that space, if it requires you to get to work a little bit earlier so you can do that, definitely do that. That is definitely a good practical practice to do that. Okay, and so the last one says, set healthy boundaries without holding a grudge. Forgiveness is not pretending that nothing happened. Wisdom may require you making healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries looks like, if y'all just can't get along and you just that person just, ooh, but you have to work with them because you guys are on the same project together. You're going to have to keep it professional. Keep all the conversations professional. Just keep them professional. Y'all don't have to go to lunch together. Y'all don't have to be best friends. You don't have to talk about what you did yesterday or last night or this weekend. But keeping it professional will save the day, because they can never say they didn't talk to me, they were being stank. No, because you kept it professional. Every time you guys had a conversation, and if they want to talk about something else and you weren't comfortable talking about it because you just weren't ready to talk about whatever's going on, you just answer it. Keep answers short. And when I say short, not be short like no attitude, but I'm saying the less sometimes you say is better. Answer the question and keep moving until you get your bearing, until you get yourself together. Because I work in HR, and I have seen people, not get along. I'm an HR professional, I should say, and I have seen people throughout my career just really just not get along. And, people come in there and complain. And I've seen one thing just went on for years, the bickering for years, and they got everybody involved and mediators. It was just, and I'm like, please just move these people. But no. So you have to learn how to walk it out and how to live it practically, how to do practical things that will help you keep your character and your integrity. And lastly, protect your peace. Protect your peace without seeking revenge, without trying to get back at somebody. Get yourself prepared way before you get to work. That's how you do it. Because when you get to work, you don't know what may happen. You don't know what phone calls coming through or what's going on. And it's already hectic being at work, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're there long hours with people. And it's just good to protect your peace. And that starts with way before you ever get to work. If you maybe start on your way to work driving. There's sometimes I drive and I don't play any music. I sit there in quiet, just gathering my thoughts, and I'm praying on the inside, and I'm getting prepared for the day. So when I get out that car, I am ready to face whatever, because I know God is with me. I want to leave you with this scripture, Romans 12:8. It's about peace. It says, if it's at all possible, and I'm paraphrasing, if it's at all possible, keep peace with all people. Just keep peace. If it's up to you, find out how to find your happy place. Sometimes the argument is just not worth having. Sometimes the bickering is just not worth it because it keeps you bitter. And you don't have to win all the time. Sometimes keeping peace, it looks like you're taking an L. But actually, no, you're really winning, because you're healthier, you're happier, and your body appreciates that when you don't bicker all the time. Your body appreciates on the inside not having all your nervous system all over the place because you allowed some offense to come in. Okay, so that's all I have. I hope you got something out of that. Keeping peace and forgiveness in the workplace, how that look practically. Again, I would love for you to share this with someone. And until next time, be the best version of yourself that you can be. And I'll see you then. Bye.